This is the KoperCrabb Podcast. Live. I am Naveen Copperweiss.
I'm Cheney Crab.
What's going on? Wow, we've been live for 10 minutes and we're just starting
starting the podcast. We won't put that on the actual episode when we put it up this weekend, but
now everybody listening in the future knows that we're a bunch of suckers. All right. The camera work's going to be a little weird on this live episode, I gotta say.
It's all good. It's our 50th episode, you guys. I can't believe it.
Okay.
That's insane.
All right, if you're playing the bingo, you're getting a point right now because I am, in fact, making sure that everything is recording. And it looks like it is.
There we go. Cross that one off.
All right. Okay, now I got to turn it on. I got to be like podcast person.
Here he is now. You'll see the transformation, live transformation. It's like American Werewolf in London.
All right.
Jeez. It's never been seen before, a transformation quite like this.
So as I was just saying a second ago, for those who were in the pre-show, the exclusive bunch, we had a bunch of sick lights and stuff set up. We took our tour lights that move around and they're any color you want. I was actually going to make some jokes and like fuck around with them and put the strobes on.
And give people seizures.
Yeah, and give people seizures, and it would have been funny. But once we plugged them in, we realized that it creates an insane ground humming noise with the podcast audio interface. And I'm running around the house with an extension cord trying to plug it into different outlets. It just didn't work. So you just get plain old Naveen and Cheney.
Plain old us. So if anyone knows how to fix our ground issues, then please hit us up.
Yeah. So I guess we're going to dedicate this episode to, we got questions flying in like crazy in the comments. We also have a pretty cool announcement, right, Cheney?
Oh, the shirts?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think I can't remember if we talked about them on the episode with Rain and
we definitely did, but it was like 2 hours deep.
Yeah.
And it was, no one heard it.
Yeah. So if you guys haven't seen, we put up our first merch drop for KoperCrabb Podcast, and so we got a hold of my friend Matt. He's an amazing artist, and we wanted our first designs to be like kind of copies of some of our favorite what would you call that stuff.
An ode.
A node?
No,
it's a nod.
A nod.
It's a nod. So here we've got, I talked about it already, but we're not gonna air that part. So here we've got the Morbid Angel Domination KoperCrabb shirt.
There it is.
These are the original prints.
These are up on our Big Cartel store, and that link is in the description of this thing, I guess.
Yeah, it's in the description. And so on Naveen's side, we have Hammer Smashed Crab, which of course is to Cannibal Corpse, man.
Greatest death metal band of all time.
I went viral for a Cannibal Corpse joke this week.
Yes, you did. And there is the Cannibal shirt.
Cannibal shirt.
KoperCrabb.
And then, of course, we have the Nirvana shirt.
And we got the Nirvana one. And let me pull that one up for you.
So, yeah, go pick those up.
There it is. That's the KoperCrabb Nirvana style, in the style of.
In the style of Nirvana.
Also, are we allowed to say what we're saying right now? Or is that
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
I think it's fine. I think we changed them enough, but hey, fuck it. Anyway,
it's
we
not
have
like we're making fucking.
We're not making. It doesn't matter.
We're trying to just pay for the Libsyn account.
We're also paying homage. So we also have on these sick new Entheos shirts. We have some new stuff up in the store. You guys should go check it out. I was just talking before the podcast about how we decided for this record, this Entheos record, our third album that we're tracking right now. I'm gonna go to the studio for the first time, but. In the entire, since Entheos started, but really, so Naveen and I are funding the entire album.
That's right.
And the best way, if you guys want to support us, want to support what we do, to do that is to go and buy shirts. That's how we make money when we're off the road.
That would be exactly what Cheney said. We're not going to do like a GoFundMe or Indiegogo or anything that stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with that. We just don't want to do that.
Yeah, not our thing.
So if you want to support, you can buy a shirt. If you don't want to support, that's cool too.
Yeah. If you don't want to support, honestly,
that's cool.
Already the fact that you're listening to this podcast, you're already supporting us. And
no biggie.
Really, seriously, we're on our 50th episode. Yeah. And the reason that we've come this far with the podcast is strictly because of you guys. Like, we stopped doing the podcast last year for a while, and we had so many people contact us about it.
And that's not saying, when people say in their they make this thing a lot. I get a lot of questions about X, Y, and Z, and they're not getting the questions. They just want to say that to make a post.
Yeah.
Right? That's not the case with this. We actually did start it back up because so many people were hitting us up on a regular basis.
That's seriously why. You guys have completely inspired us to keep this going. And not only that, like, Naveen and I were just talking about this today, that the fire...
Well, this is something that Jane and I have been...
Whoa, what happened? But Naveen and I were talking about earlier today how, like, not only have we restarted the podcast, but the fire keeps burning. We're not having any thoughts like we were having last time when we decided to kind of end it, toward the end.
Should we keep going? Should we not? Is it good? I don't know. That kind of a thing.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for being... an inspiration to us in keeping this thing going, because it's really been so fun. It's been a whole new adventure for us.
Damn straight.
We're hanging out with people who we haven't hung out with in a while. It's a chance to catch up with people, to connect with all of you guys. And seriously, it's just been so great and such an awesome experience that I'm excited to, take this into the future. And we definitely are going to keep this going.
Yeah. So just to wrap that up, we have some Entheos sweat suits, right? There's the hoodie.
Yeah.
There's the sweatpants. I have them. I have the hoodie and the sweatpants. I'm wearing them all the time. But I will say that they run a bit big, those sweatpants. So order a size down or more than that. Just putting that out
After
there.
you dry them though, they
after
really
you dry
well.
them, they're good to go.
But
so
anyway.
I'm wearing those all the time. Anyway, that's that there. All the links are in the description.
Now let's get to the freaking podcast.
Let's get to the podcast. Oh, shit. So anyway, Cheney, what the heck, man? What have you been up to?
Well, I've been just starving for this entire week. Yeah. So we both agreed together because it's so much easier.
Dude, this is an announcement.
We're
right
back
here.
on the workout game. We fell off a little bit, okay? I must admit, something that, like, a part of working out for me is going to the gym. Yep. Just getting out of my house and having somewhere to go. And I've talked about that before. It's just easier for me to go somewhere and have the mindset of, okay, I'm here, I'm in the gym, I'm like gonna do my thing, and then I gotta go to the sauna afterward. And it's a whole routine that we were doing for so long, and Naveen and I were killing it for a while. We had abs and everything, but
visible abs,
but like when this whole quarantine thing went down, like California has been so temperamental in how much things are open. Like, we've only really gyms were open for like 2 months and they closed down again a month or so ago at this point. So it was really hard, like, keeping up the momentum during because at first I was like, okay, if gyms stay open, at least I can go to the sauna every day if I'm not on tour. But, then everything closed down.
It reopened a little while ago, and we were kind of a little bit like, oh, maybe we should get back into working out, get fit again or whatever. Then the gyms closed.
Yeah.
But obviously mainly we talked about it when we first started the podcast. We were kind of still in the gym mode.
Yeah.
Beast mode, I guess they're calling it these days.
Yeah. Beast mode. I don't think anyone is calling it that. They were kind of in the beast mode.
No, we were in the beast mode.
Oh, yeah.
And so we were talking about, using MyFitnessPal and,
Yeah, so we were being like real, we were being like gym influencers.
But then also, I think, life doesn't get out of hand, but it just starts to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
And we start doing different things, and certain things start getting neglected.
And in our case, the certain things we started doing was eating burritos every day.
And then those sweet abs went into hiding. Right.
And so they've got a little padding on them, as they like to say. And then Thanksgiving and Christmas rolled around, and it was just
so it's
over.
been sort of
I was
downhill.
making sugar cookies and.
Cheney's from Des Moines, Iowa, so
Yeah, I'm throwing cups of sugar and everything, and but so anyway, for a week, we both agreed, because this is how we did it last time. When you're in a couple,
you got to get on board.
You got to be on board.
Same page.
It's just a little easier if both people are on board.
Yeah.
For us, we hang out so much that it's just easier for us to do it together, and we inspire each other.
Yeah, because then we can talk back and forth
all day long.
Yeah, I'm starving. It's like, I'm starving too. Let's talk about food or whatever,
Or talking about eating one meal a day or whatever.
It doesn't work if I'm sitting there with a burrito and you're trying to do a diet.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're going to be mad at me.
At least not for us.
I don't know. That's not
I don't have the willpower.
Me neither. I'm going to be like, fuck this. Cheney's having a burrito. I'm getting one too.
I know.
I won't one.
Because somehow if you're eating a burrito, I'm like, well, it doesn't matter if I'm packing on the pounds, if Naveen is. And I guess that's how you get old and fat when you're married.
Right. So, I think you were like, all right, well, let's get it back going again.
Yeah, probably.
So, that being said, I went and bought these Fly Jack. It's kind of like a near beer. It's
96 cal.
Yeah. So
honestly, though, okay.
So we do keep track. This sounds so douchey to talk about, but
I know,
whatever.
it's really what we do is really douchey.
We keep track of what you eat, right? So if I'm gonna have a beer, a normal beer is 200 something calories. If it's a good beer. So if you got to get this shitty fucking Fly Jack that sucks, and it's 96
I actually was gonna say I really like this Fly Jack because I love my IPAs, and this is
it's like if you took an IPA and then
you watered it down.
Filled it with half a cup of water.
Yeah. So I don't actually mind it. It's pretty good.
I'm on my second one, and I'm not really feeling much of a buzz, but I don't know, whatever.
Oh, now you've busted out the whiskey.
So my plan was to do 2 Fly Jacks, which I've already almost finished. I have about half a cup here, and then do 1 shot of whiskey, and I'm all in for 350 cals.
There we go. 350.
That sucks. Dude. Everybody listening to this show, they're like, I didn't want to listen to this stupid fitness show. This is ridiculous.
I know. Didn't sign up for this. I thought they played metal.
Yeah. But speaking of the metal, well, hey, dude, we got plenty of metal coming, dude.
Yes, we do.
You better believe it, bro.
I know. I'm so excited to share it. I think that it's... I don't know where I was going to go with that. It's the first thing that we're putting out that you've been playing all of the instruments on. Well,
so
you're not playing all of the
Let
instruments.
me ask you a question here, because we got some questions
rolling it. Go for
it. Right. So David Schlesinger, I hope I'm saying that right. Oh, Derek Schlesinger.
You didn't even say it.
He's wondering if everything is written at this point. He's guessing it is, since the drums are finished.
Everything is not written. We have a bassist. The bassist that's playing on the record he's starting in March 1st. And the patterns are pretty much demoed out, but the lyrics are, the lyrics are getting there. We're kind of in the middle of writing, because the way that we track, we don't do it all in one singular swoop. So 2 weeks ago, Naveen tracked drums, and now Naveen's getting a new guitar, and he's waiting on his new guitar and that's when we're going to start tracking guitars. The bassist,
you're damn straight,
needed to track in March, so that's when he's doing it. I'm going to the studio to track this one, so we're getting a vocal producer on this record, and what that means is that I'm going to track with someone, and that person is going to be there and offer a third hand in deciding vocal placement and
whatnot,
stuff like that. We're really excited about this record, and we just really, really want to put our all into it. Our hearts are definitely into it, but we want to make it as good as possible. And going to a person to track is something that we've always talked about, but we just haven't necessarily pulled the trigger, because Naveen and I have always, tracked all of our vocals together and done it well. But
that's right.
But our band is it's a new era of our band, with Naveen playing guitar and drums, and
the pulse of a new era.
It's the pulse of a new era. So yeah, I can't even remember what the actual question was.
It was just if all the material was written, but I mean, all the riffs and the drums are written. So that's solid, good to go.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe when I go back and do the final guitar. So the only thing that's like tracked is the drums.
Yeah.
And we were just talking today, we might, go back through and kind of move stuff around.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe move a fill here or there too, because when Cheney does vocals, sometimes the drum fills and the vocals don't really jive, so we have to sort of, pick one that's going to stay. And then,
Exactly.
So I'll probably have to do a little bit about that stuff.
Yeah.
And then he has a follow-up question, which is, what's the deal with the bass?
Oh, yeah.
I know you all have a good relationship with Evan. So, yeah, we do have a good relationship
We do.
with
We
Evan.
love Evan, and that's we wish that Evan could play on the record.
So he can't do it right now, but we have someone who is pretty dang sick.
We have, honestly, an amazing bassist lined up, and I'm sure that some of you guys have heard of him. We're not gonna tell you who it is right now, but
he's sick though.
He's amazing. He's in a band. He's just playing on the record. I don't know if we'll ever play shows with him, but yeah, we have someone really amazing lined up. And yeah, Evan was the first person that we asked to play on the record. We're right there with you. We love Evan, and we totally understand that people love Evan's playing, because we do too.
Exactly.
We fucking love it. And there's no
we get it.
And we started the band with Evan, so of course we totally get it. But unfortunately, he just doesn't have the time to play on this record.
Yeah.
So.
Someone says, is it Hugo?
Nope.
Oh,
it's not
okay.
Hugo.
So Cheney's gonna, you are gonna entertain.
I'm not. That's all that I'll say.
Someone's gonna guess it.
That's all that I'll say.
Someone's gonna guess it. So I guess we can't play.
It's a really good bassist, you guys.
Yeah, it's the keyboard from Seinfeld. So, what do you want to do, Cheney? You want to take more questions, or should we just sort of chat?
No,
yeah,
we can take some of the questions on here. There were a few. Did you record with Rob Flynn?
I did do that, and I actually
Rick Horton asked that.
So for those of you who don't know, I've actually I just did a Machine Head session. I recorded a few songs with them, and I've done 2 sessions previous to that. I'm actually on a couple songs that are out, which you can listen to if you go to my Instagram page. I did this one day, I think on a Saturday. I was just laying in bed. I saw, whose page was that? I was looking at Alex Bent's Instagram page.
Drummer of Trivium.
Yeah. And he had like a little, those, whatever the fuck this thing, highlights. He had a highlight thing. And it was like discography. And it linked to a Spotify playlist. And it's all the shit he's ever played on. And I was like, man, that is so sick. I'm going to do that. So I did it. So now on my Instagram page, if you hit the discography, it goes to a Spotify playlist. It's every album and song I've ever played drums on for the most part.
That's really smart. I should do that too.
Yeah, you should definitely.
It's a really good idea. Everyone should do that.
So the Machine Head songs that I played on are on there, and
someone just said that we've gone from bingo to process of elimination here. That's so funny.
Ryan Martini.
The opposite of
Dan
bingo.
Briggs, Les Claypool. I mean, if we start saying yes, no, then
I'm not going to answer any of those. It might be one of those guys.
It might be Les Claypool. I don't know,
dude. After I saw that Primus, I really hate Primus. Like, I don't like Primus's music at all.
Damn,
but after I saw them,
publicly.
I'm sorry. I don't hate Primus, but it's not my thing. So I saw their like live at home Primus, and it kind of turned me. I was like, maybe Primus is the type of band that I need to watch.
They're gonna get you eventually.
I mean, I noticed that the older I get, the more I get into things that I never thought that I'd be into. Like, I like the Grateful Dead, and I posted a status on Facebook like 10 years ago saying that there was no way I was getting into the Grateful Dead.
Dang.
But Harsh.
So yeah, to wrap that up.
All right, I just strongly dislike it.
So yeah, I did play on some more Machine Head songs. It was a great time. Rob Flynn was present. He was there.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. I like him. He actually said that he would come on our podcast at some point.
Calling him out live. Very nice dude.
But yeah, I mean, hey, if he's too busy, that's no big deal.
Very nice guy.
That'd be sweet. I really like that guy, and I really like playing with Machine Head in the studio and stuff. It's always really fun, and honestly, if I could just do that kind of stuff all the time, I would be totally happy with that.
Yeah.
But dang, I wanted to say something else, but it's kind of hard to like. I'm trying to wrap my mind around doing a podcast, and I'm also like doing a chat.
Oh yeah.
You know? It's not
someone
good.
asked.
We need a moderator.
Someone asked
Cheney.
if there are any guest spots on the album. If you consider bass playing a guest spot,
There's not any guest spots.
There
as
aren't
of
guest
now. We've
spots.
thought about it, but I don't know.
The thing is that, man, I really like guest spots, but I also just really like to be able to like make my own music.
Yeah, just kind of listen to it.
Yeah, I
is.
enjoy the idea of it, but I haven't like had a reason. I don't know. I could see us maybe having a guest spot sometime in the future, but I don't know about on this record.
I mean, that's what the podcast is for. We got tons.
Yeah,
of
we
guest
got
spots
hella
up
guest
in
spots
here.
on this.
And which Matt Arkin is saying. Should I call out their name or should I just say?
Play Animosity stuff. We're literally never gonna play an Animosity.
I think
song.
he was making fun of.
Oh, sorry.
Insert comment.
When I saw that,
See
I was
what I'm
like,
saying?
yeah, okay, my bad.
Cheney got
like,
triggered.
I was
dude.
like, dude, we're never playing an Animosity song.
But we would have Evan on the podcast. I think I actually asked him about that.
Oh yeah, I would love to have Evan on the podcast. Evan's a very, he would just be an awesome guy to have in that kind of setting.
Yeah, I know. It would be really cool because he's not like, Cheney and I at this point there's now, what is it, 100 hours of us talking on the internet now?
Yeah.
Evan's not like that. You don't get to hear from him all the time.
Right.
Right? Me and Cheney are like old
all
hat,
over.
dude. Just like, oh, them again?
No, I would love to have Evan on the podcast.
Yeah, and I do believe we asked him, and Tosin is someone that I've
triggered.
Tosin is someone that I have thought would be good. Actually, I was just thinking of that today.
Oh, Tosin would be a fantastic
I was just thinking
guest.
we should have Tosin and Hav at the same time, dude. That'd be sick.
Or separately.
Or separately.
Yeah, that would be really awesome actually to have them both because we have a lot of like old stories. We lived together for a long time, or a year and a half. Yeah, the podcast is on YouTube. I guess there are new people checking in on this podcast. So if you guys are like, if you guys are new to our podcast, this is the format every week. So we've been doing this we have 50 episodes now. This is the first one.
Yeah.
Or this is the 50th one, not the first one.
The first one.
So yeah, it's up on YouTube. There are a ton of old episodes. Last
guests.
week we have a ton of guests that we've had on the podcast.
Oh, actually, yeah, that's something I wanted to talk about last week's podcast.
What?
I think I kind of wanted to clear up some stuff.
Okay, what did you want to clear up?
Okay, so we had Rainin Bozio on the show last week.
Yeah.
And we never really said that his dad is Terry Bozio.
Yeah, I think we talked a little bit about Terry.
Yeah. We talked about him.
We referenced him.
Yeah.
But when you're like in the middle of a conversation, it's hard to remember when you have a rich history with someone to, insert in exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So we were talking about Zappa like off the cuff last week. Rainin's dad is Terry Bozio, and Terry Bozio was one of Frank Zappa's drummers.
He was on a lot of really good Frank Zappa albums.
Yeah.
And we're talking Zappa in New York. That's Black Page Part 1 and 2.
Yeah.
We're talking
when you hear
Baby
crazy
Snakes.
Crazy backing vocals, it's Terry Bozio as well. Drummer and
so
he played the Black Page.
The original guy.
The original guy. He's, the piece of music that could never be played. He played the Black Page.
Yeah. So
legendary dude.
That was something I wanted to clear up. I think there was another question that we were. Was there something else we were talking about last week's episode?
I can't remember.
Anyway, because it was, it's weird when you get back with we lived with Rainin as well in It's not North Hollywood. I can never remember the name of where
Van
we lived.
Nuys.
I can never remember.
We
that,
lived with
dude.
Rainin and we lived with Michael Keane.
Yeah,
those were our two roommates.
So we might have, if you go back and listen to that one, that's episode 49. You're probably gonna hear us referencing Keane and his dad all the time, and we didn't really say
why.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
So-
because I didn't want to be like, well, Rainin is.
Well, he was just going
Rainin
on, like-
is Rainin on
Yeah.
his own.
Yeah.
Rainin's got his own thing going on, and you don't want to be like, this is Rainin, Terry Bozzio's son, because that's not what
Yeah.
I think about
I-
first. Because he's been our friend for so long that
Yeah.
you just forget to say that type of thing.
Exactly, and I don't ever. I've
Do
actually,
we usually
you know,
talk about guests' dads? I think that actually we talked about dads with Rainin and with Blake Richardson.
and with Blake, yeah, because he was about to be a dad,
Yeah, Blake's about to be a dad, and
and
also
I think he talked about his dad.
he did because they shot like a BT Bam Colors live thing,
Yeah,
and it was in Blake's parents' basement, and Blake's dad helped him build a drum room for it.
that's right.
So
That's
why.
That sounded pretty sick. But yeah, so if you go back and listen to that episode, now you'll know what he'll have a little context.
There
I guess
you
is
go.
what they call that. But yeah, I guess we could just take more questions here.
If you want to have Tosin and Hav on, I want to know who their dads are.
Okay, hold on.
Their dads are
Another-
both cool.
Another thing about last week's episode. Someone's asking, what happened with the glitch at last week's episode? All right, so we don't know what happened. It just went totally haywire and then lost connection, and that was that. And so I just ended it, rolled the fucking outro music. And then Rainin texts me the next day. He goes, oh, dude, my mic wasn't on. Straight up.
Oh my
like,
God.
the mic was not on. And I'm like, okay. So I guess it was just his computer audio like picking up, because I didn't
Yeah, it
notice
must
that it
have
was kind of
been.
noisy. I
Me
was like,
too. It sounded like
yeah,
computer audio.
like, okay. So that's what happened with that. Super weird.
Looking at any specific bands you'd like to tour with when things return to somewhat normal. I want to tour with Cannibal one day.
I know, huh?
It doesn't have to be right when tours
Is
resume,
strictly
but
because of you guys.
Cannibal Corpse.
any recommendations for metal bands, Rob says, to check out and or up and coming bands? God, it's a long list.
This is going to turn into one of the KoperCrabb bingo questions.
What?
What I'm about to say.
What do we think of Square Pushers live band? We saw Square Pushers live band. God, that was probably like 4 years ago. Whenever they toured the States,
Yeah.
it was fucking incredible.
Yeah, it was super sick.
It was amazing. We saw them at the Independent in San Francisco, and I stood. We were
It was
right
great.
up front
It
the
was
whole
great.
time. It was
It was great.
amazing.
But hold on, let me get back to this KoperCrabb bingo edition.
Oh yeah,
It's going to be us saying to check out Otme.
Otme. Yeah, you
'Cause
guys.
you're
I
gonna
mean, I
say-
feel like actually a lot of people have started hearing about them because their last record.
Okay.
Uh,
All right.
but Otme, if you guys don't know
That's
who
a really
Otme
good band,
is,
up and comer to check out. That
Yeah.
Cytotoxin band is sick.
Cytotoxin is sick.
I'd have to honestly go through
What's
my
the name of the
Spotify.
band that you like? Cognizance.
Cognizance is rad. I don't know if they're up and come. I guess they are. I don't know.
I don't know. It just depends on how you look at it.
Cognizance
Up and
super
coming.
sick. These are like death metal bands we're mentioning, by the way. It's not.
Is the new album that's coming out going to be more like our recent single?
Sort of, but sort of not.
It is definitely like that. I mean, our new record definitely has more death metal in it than the last record that we made.
Yeah. It's got more. It has more of everything, I'd say. For the
Totally.
most part, but I guess a little less of like the like what you would consider to be like proggy riffs.
Yeah.
Like it is progressive, but it's not like.
Well,
I don't know how to explain it.
I think that when you guys hear this record, you'll realize the riff style that you've heard in the past on our records that has been Naveen. Like you'll start to recognize, oh, so this aspect of their sound is Naveen's writing.
Right. You can sort of distinguish who had what sound because there's less people writing. There's only one guy writing.
Right.
That's me.
Right.
But I honestly think that we've retained the stuff that's good about the band. And I wrote the last single by myself too. So, I mean,
there's like there is a large chunk of our band that has always been you writing it, and no one has really known that because we've never like been incredibly vocal about you being someone who writes in our band. Yeah.
And I don't want to be like online, like, but I'm doing everything over here, like, I don't know. That seems a little weird.
Because when you have, we've had guitar players in our band in the past and they have written riffs and stuff, and you don't really want to be like, get out of the way, dude. Naveen's the person who wrote because they had a part in it as well.
Exactly. Shani, we got a question coming in hot here.
Yeah.
What top 3 songs would we like to cover?
Scourge of Iron.
Boom.
Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah, so Shani and I are like, so we've been talking about it all day. I think we're going to cover Scourge of Iron. That's right.
I think we're definitely going to
cover that. You heard it first. And then I want to do a cover of a song, and I've wanted to do it for years. That I don't even want to say what song it is because I don't want someone else to do it first. That's right. And then, Shani, what about the third song?
Third song. Well, we've always talked about doing a Soul Niger cover.
Yeah.
So
that's Frederick Thorndahl.
Yeah, which is
for those of you who don't know. Some people don't know still.
Yeah.
So that's Frederick Thorndahl, guitar player of Meshuggah, obviously. He has a solo album called, which is the best album of all time.
Frederick Thorndahl's Special Defects. We talk about Soul Niger within like all the time.
You can because add that
we both
to the bingo.
Love that record a lot. I think it might be on the bingo. But if you don't know
Wormhole, we recommended them and someone checked it out.
Yeah, Wormhole's the
wow,
shit.
So we're like actually out here turning people on to bands. That's sick.
I know. I can't believe that anyone listens to anything that we say.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's awesome. Would you ever make another Flesh Rot album?
There's a couple songs floating around that have been for a lot of years. I probably should. It's just, when do you do it?
I know. Also, you write.
When do you do it?
It's like you write so much for our band that it seems like a lot of your energy goes into that. Because we don't really stop in our band, whereas Flesh Rot, like...
kind of just like a project.
Honestly, one of the reasons, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this out loud, but one of the reasons that Entheos started is because Naveen had hit up Johnny to do vocals on a couple of songs, and Johnny didn't ever do the vocals in like a year.
We were like, well, maybe we should just start a band.
Yeah, so we were like, let's just start a band because, we pump that ish out.
Yeah. Well, he's going to hear this part.
Sorry, Johnny. I didn't mean to throw you under the bus on that.
Actually, I asked Johnny to be on the podcast.
Yeah, Johnny should definitely do the podcast.
Yes.
Sick.
Yeah.
Because Naveen's playing drums on the new JFAC.
That is right. Well, I actually already did play drums. Oh, we turned someone on to Dommy.
Oh, to Dommy?
I didn't even know.
JD Beck. Wow.
That's the thing. Like, I don't remember what we say on the podcast.
Me
so
either.
I don't know if I'm saying the exact same thing every week or... you know what I was thinking of today?
What?
I was thinking of, I wonder how many things we've said we're going to do that we just didn't do.
Oh, so many.
Probably.
For sure.
Like one per episode.
For sure. But right now
is some of it we have done.
I'm sure. Yeah, we definitely have. Right now, though, is a year anniversary. We saw JD Beck and Dommy last year at NAMM. We drove to LA and saw them.
That's right.
At a play a sold out show, and it blew my fucking mind. How would I go about learning the phrasing for Soul Niger's vocals? I honestly actually already know a lot of the phrasings. I just listen to music and learn it that way. I know that a lot of people ask about like timing and counting. I have never, the only time that I ever count anything is if it's like a weird jump off point where I need to start vocals. Like when I'm learning vocals or doing vocals, I don't think about counting, and I'm pretty sure that Naveen would say the same thing about playing drums. No, I don't count anything. It's just feel. So I've counted like maybe when I was in Animals, I think I counted like 2 parts. Yeah. Just because it was like, all right, if I don't do it, I'm going to train wreck. It's super confusing. But other than that, I just go off of like feel. Me too. I listen to the music. Yeah, I'll just hum the riff in my head and play to it. That's
That's honestly what I do. And even if you hear the drum tracks like soloed,
Mm-hmm.
you can hear me humming the riffs. But it sounds like a total spaz. Like it's not
really?
like, doesn't sound good.
That's
no,
really
sometimes
interesting.
you can hear it. Yeah, you can hear it.
Wow. And honestly, if it's like a weird jump off point, then I'll only count like, okay, 1, go. But we also, someone on the questions, which will, we had people ask us questions on Instagram as well, but someone on Instagram asked us what we hear in our ears when we use in-ear monitors. And so what I hear in my ears, I hear click, sometimes album guitar in case anyone falls off, and like kick and snare.
Yeah.
I rarely hear bass, and I hear myself, of course. And I put a lot of I soup up my vocals so that it sounds really good in my ears. So I have like a lot of reverb and
she drops it down like into like an octave in her earbuds, so it sounds real like brutal and like just crazy.
Yeah, so I'm like just fooled every time. No, I just I have like reverb and compression.
Pitch it up higher in your ears.
Oh no, that would be
so then you're trying to go even lower.
Wow. I don't know if that would work.
That's stupid. Sorry.
That would be a nightmare. But yeah, so what do you hear in your ears?
I hear a lot of kick drum. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Click track.
Yeah, click track.
Love that.
Me too.
And then you can't really fail with a click track going.
You can't.
You're just good to go.
Usually I just have that click track.
Do whatever.
Just blaring.
Just stop playing. Doesn't matter.
See, that's the thing. So many people are under the impression that a click track makes you like robot. I don't know what anyone has against click tracks. All that it does,
like Shannon, our friend Shannon, is asking us if we play to a click. So that's a good thing.
We do play to a click.
On to.
It'd be pretty goddamn hard to play our music without a click, just because in the past we just have there are a lot of places that people could fall off. And a lot of the time, it's just easier to hear yourself and stay in time if you're on a click track.
Yeah. And if I ever have a screw up or whatever, people can keep going because the drums are not there. They can still play. But yeah, for the most part, I keep it real. Like I've gone elaborate with the in-ears. That's something, this is kind of a good tip. Keep it kind of simple in there because stuff can start getting real weird. You really should. Like too much going on in your head because the tendency is to go, sick, I got in-ears, I'm going to fucking get the works. Like, don't do that. Just get the essentials and hone in on them and just play real tight. Because you're also
not taking into account the crowd sound and the way that it feels differently when a crowd is there and stage sound. So like when you'll mess with your in-ears at practice. What we do before every tour is we like sit and we can get on an iPad and like do our mix the same way that a sound guy would do it.
Yeah.
So we all can mess with the iPad there, but then the minute we get to the first show, standing on a stage makes everything like reverberate, and feeling the cabs in your feet and the drums in your feet makes you want to change your mix. And then the first night that you're on tour, you're like then getting a feel for like the crowd and what it's going to feel like in your ears. So you're really like messing with your mix for the first couple of shows.
Totally. But then you get to a point though on tour where it's like just smooth sailing. You just throw it on.
Totally.
You're never going to touch it again. And it's the best, man.
Totally.
Never going back.
I'm never going back. Never going back. But I was starting to say like a lot of people get under the impression that if you use a click track live, you're losing a lot of the life and the ability to jam. But I find when you use a click track live, granted, you're not really like moving out of time or slowing or speeding tempo. What you can do is it allows, one member to go off in solo while the rest of the band stays in time, perfectly in time. Or one member can train wreck and no one in the band falls off. So it is really, it's not like something that changes your playing. It's just more of a safety net.
Yeah, safety net, dude.
So you can fall back into it easily. And if people lose their place, then it's easy to get back on. Yeah. Because if you're not playing to a click, have fun getting back on with everyone else without stopping the song and starting over. Yeah. Because it's never going to happen.
Right. But then you got the whole added stress of like, is this thing going to just crash and then burn, which has happened a couple times. The laptop, shuts off, or
Or
Naveen forgets to plug it in, or
or you drop your wireless pack into a toilet in Mexico before you're about to play a festival in front of 1,000 people.
But we got another good question right here, and that is, what is the writing process like now that the band is just you, the two of you? Is it drastically different? Can you briefly walk us through the process of writing Anthea's song?
It's actually not very different at all because Naveen, like we were saying, Naveen has always written our music. You've always been the one to demo our guitars.
Yeah.
And demo the drums.
That's right. So yeah, before, basically what I would do is I would get kind of riffs from other members and then assemble the song pretty much. I mean, it's changed throughout the time of the band.
Yeah.
I mean, when we first started, me and Frank would kind of bounce off of each other, but then when we had guitar players living in other states, we'd have to do it remotely. And for the most part, I've always arranged everything, and sort of when we get a new guitar player, I'll have to they'll send me a riff and I'll have to sort of Entheos-ify the riff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's usually not exactly as they wrote it. I'll sort of put a little spin on it so it fits a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then I'm arranging from there and stuff. So honestly, it's not that much. It's really not that much different. Because
it's almost exactly the same. The only thing that was really different, Dark Future was a little different because everything was demoed. You had written out a lot of skeletons to songs, and then Evan and Travis came and wrote in our house.
And we kind of wrote more together on that one.
There was still, it was still largely influenced by you.
Yeah, and I'd say, having said that, I think the new one, it seems to have a bit more cohesion to it because only one person wrote it. You know what I mean? I think you can always sort of tell that when you're listening to a band, if one guy writes it all, it sort of has more of a one vibe,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying that's
I wouldn't even say that it has one vibe. I would say that it just the vibes fit together much. It's just easy puzzle pieces put into place rather than, trying to fit a square peg into a round hole.
Exactly.
It's way more cohesive of a record, I think. I like all of the stuff we've done before. I like what we're doing now. I just feel like the band overall is becoming more cohesive.
Yeah, we're kind of getting a little bit more of what we want to do.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be a good release, man. I really hope so. I don't know. You can never tell before it comes out. So
yeah, you can.
But we've been talking a lot about how it's going to be released. This, that, and the other thing. We got some good people working on it, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be sick.
I think so.
So Chaney, you want to pick out?
We said we'd do our top albums of all time. You're right. We did say that. Sorry about that.
On the spot, we're not going to do that. I've already mentioned a lot of them. You got Zappa in New York. You got Soul Niger Within. I'll do my top 10 right now. Watch off the head, just off the dome.
Zappa in New York is not a metal album.
Oh, it has to be metal.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. That's easy. I can do that.
I think that we have some in common. Soul Niger Within, Destroy the Opposition.
Yep.
Yours will probably start going in other places.
Yeah, you got Origin.
Informus.
There it is. Thanks, Chaney. I would have to I'd probably, it'd be...
I don't want to do my list right now because I know that I'll miss something.
I don't either, but whatever.
The floor tom snare sounded dope. Would you take it live?
Maybe. It's just kind of it's not the most comfortable thing. Playing it doesn't matter, but the fact that it has floor tom legs is just sort of annoying. I have to... It can only be oriented in one way for it to fit on the kit. But we did use it on the album, straight up.
Yeah.
We compared it to the G Maple, and we were like, this sounds better.
It just sounded way heavier. Way heavier.
Yeah, and that's not an expensive snare. That's a easily affordable snare. It's $300. I looked into it.
Yeah, that's affordable.
So, I mean...
God, drums are
I know, but
so
$300
affordable.
for a snare, I think that's a really good deal. To me, $1,200.
Yeah,
Now we're getting
Keith.
into like
Go
movies.
subscribe to us on KoperCrabb Podcast YouTube and
There you go.
Entheos YouTube while you're at it. Just 2 clicks.
Which
two
Origin
birds
album?
with one
okay,
click.
Informus Origin. That's
go listen
my
to
favorite.
Informus.
I like that one. I like Echoes of Decimation. That's the one after that. I like.
I would say Informus is the best.
Informus is
It's OG.
yeah, it's OG, but it's also like when it came out, it was like, wow, like they did that. I feel like they started that whole like really crazy death metal.
Tech
like,
death.
Yeah, but like tech death,
Like
Rings of Saturn.
Yeah.
Like that kind of. They don't sound like that.
No, but that I don't think that band would exist without Origin.
Like doing the fucking gravity blasts and like the sweeping and like when they did that, dude, I was like mind blown. You know, I mean, because I had their album before that, and it was a lot slower, right?
Yeah.
So they were just, we're gonna make another album. It's so fast. It's so insane. Like, so that'd be actually a sick cover, dude.
Dude, John Longstreth would be a sick person to have on the podcast.
Damn, you're damn straight. Damn straight. That's
John is one of the best.
drummers.
John is probably like, God, I mean, John is one of the best death metal drummers of all time. He's fucking amazing. Any plans to do one of those studio diary type things, or any new behind the scenes for the new album? Yes, we will.
We've put up.
We've been shooting stuff.
Yeah, we've been shooting a little bit of stuff. I put up a couple drum videos, updates. There's
on your Instagram.
On my Instagram and on my YouTube, there's a couple like 2-minute videos, but they're not talking. It's just kind of like demonstrating, how sick the drums sounded at Shark Bite.
Yeah, we'll definitely do something. The funny thing in the past is that I've usually been the person in the band who's like interested in videography and stuff.
Yeah.
But you've gotten into it. I've never gone to a studio before, like we said, to track vocals.
Exactly.
So I've never really had any footage shot of me in the studio, which is funny because I'm the vocalist of the band.
And so this will free me up. I won't have to be sitting there tracking Cheney, and I can like get some pictures, get some sick videos.
Yeah.
Maybe some interview. Maybe I'll interview you. You know what I mean?
I would love to be interviewed.
So Cheney, what are your main influences? That kind of a thing.
Yeah, totally.
I don't really know
all the good corny interview questions.
I don't really know what corny interview questions are. When we have people on the show, we don't really like interview them. We just hang out. And sometimes
chat.
I wonder, it's like, should we be getting a little more info out of them? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I feel like we get pretty good info.
I don't know. Sometimes we do. Sometimes not.
Let's go through some of these questions that we got off.
I gotta take a whiz, dude.
All right, go take
a BRB.
Cool. Damn, we're hitting an hour and we still have 29. That's pretty cool. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Okay, so I'm going to go through. Garrett asked if we could get Scott Carstairs on the podcast. That would be so sick. Yeah, we probably should, right? We haven't asked Scott, but that's a really good idea. We had Andrew Baird was on the podcast like a year or so ago, and that was a really interesting one because Andrew was diagnosed with cancer years ago, and he told his whole story on that episode, and that was really really, really interesting and just crazy to hear because he's a young, really healthy guy. So
we also had Ant on the podcast.
Oh yeah, we had Ant as well. That was a great one.
Here, you want me to message Scott right now?
Yeah, message Scott right now. Get on the podcast.
All right, I'm gonna message him and see.
K Hughes drumming. Any tips for not letting anything get in your way and staying motivated?
So you're not gonna be motivated.
Yeah, that's
the
real.
thing. That's the thing. And if you really wanna kill it, right? And were they asking about drums? Is that what they said?
No, not about drums. Any tips for not letting anything get in your way and staying motivated?
Yeah. Okay. So
what are they asking about?
Said it all right there. Like is what it is. If what you need to do is commit, right?
Yeah.
Commit. I'm going to do this X amount of times per week, right? Or whatever. It doesn't matter. Whatever your plan is, just make some sort of plan. I don't care what it is. Like, hey, I'm going to fucking play drums for a half hour a week. That's even a plan, because you can turn around and, I haven't even played drums for a month or something like that, right? So if you say, I'm going to play drums for half an hour a week, or 2 sessions, half hour a week, period. That's that. And you just show up. That's it, dude. That's it. Once you figure that out, you unlock it, dude.
That's really it. You have to hold everything. Yourself to that standard that you're going to show up. If you
just show up, that's it.
And also, if you love something, then showing up and powering through those days when you don't want to be motivated, that's real motivation.
That's even better. When you're like, dude, I didn't want to do this, and I went and did it anyway.
Yeah.
All right, I showed up. I did my part. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So I've been trying to do that a lot more in my life.
Same.
Like, hey, I have my little routines and plans for different aspects of my life. And even if I don't want to do it, go do it. And even if you only do it like, 50% or whatever, 60% of how good you could have done it, you still did it.
You still did it. It's more than 0%.
Still showed up, dude.
It's more than 0%. Naveen and I have been doing that a lot lately. Like we were talking about earlier, we've been getting back into working out a lot, but also working on a record, we are both like professional procrastinators. Okay.
The best.
Me worse than Naveen.
Top tier.
But once you start like saying, no, I'm going to overcome that procrastination, and maybe instead of, watching Netflix for 2 hours tonight, I can work on the band for 2 hours, write 3 lines of lyrics, demo out a couple of vocals. That's way more than doing nothing.
I know.
Like doing the podcast. I have to talk myself into cutting clips for the podcast, but it pays off in the long run. I've never talked myself into doing something that I was unhappy that I talked myself into doing after it was over. Possible. And that I think is an important mentality to keep and to remember, that it really sucks that I like have this task ahead of me. Maybe you haven't worked out for the day and you're trying to find the energy to get motivated. Just keep in your mind, there's never a time that you'll go and work out and be upset with yourself after you're done with it.
Exactly.
Because you're like, well, I didn't do like 20, I didn't do 40 jumping jacks today. I only did 20. Well, at least I didn't do 0. That's really the main motivation for me. As long as I see something getting done. I've been drawing a lot more lately, and I'm kind of holding myself to the standard that I should at least have a drawing that I'm working on a week. So if I dedicate a couple of hours to that every day, even though dot work is insane and it takes me forever to do, if I dedicate a couple of hours to that a day, 30 minutes to it a day, I'm getting a lot further than if I dedicated no time to it in that day.
Exactly.
And honestly, Naveen and I have jobs, full-time jobs. We are also in bands. We also have hobbies. It sucks to do it all. There is always the excuse. You get home from work and you're like, I don't really want to work on the band tonight. I'd rather just like chill out on the couch and do nothing. But if you just push yourself to doing something, anything, you're succeeding.
Exactly. Show up, dude. That's what it's all about. And
show up.
Any motivational thing you're gonna read, or advice on how to get things done, blah blah blah. They're gonna say, show up.
Yeah.
And like this morning, dude. Right. So like I said, we're trying to get back fit or whatever. Right. I haven't worked out in a few months. Mm-hmm. Right. I'm like, okay. So working out for me sucks right now because it's like I'm doing shit that's like would have been I would have breezed through it and been like, whatever. I'm not even sweating. This is easy.
Yeah.
Dude, I jumped rope for 10 minutes today. And I felt like I was gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
Like I was right now. My calves are like so sore.
Right.
So I didn't want to do it. It actually wasn't that fun when I was doing it. But afterwards, I was like, I showed up, dude. Check the box off.
That's what's up. Dude, showing up, that's all it is. And you know what? All of that time of showing up, even though it's just an hour or 30 minutes or 10 minutes one day.
10 minutes, dude.
It's after 4 months of just showing up for 10 minutes a day, you will be amazed with how much you have progressed in that time, how much you've done, what you've created, or how your body looks now because you've been working out or whatever. It's all about just dedicating a little bit of time every day.
1,200 minutes. Let's see, how many hours is that?
I mean, man, that's something that I'm really trying to implement even more into my life, because I do feel like when we were in the middle of that crazy training period, it just made everything else in my life fall into place a little bit more because I was really, really hyper focused.
Yeah.
And so for me, I find that, a good diet, eating healthy and like working out.
One, right? You're going to go online, you're going to look at all these crazy, it's like, don't even worry about that, dude. Just do something basic, man.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
Keep it
simple and do something that you can actually do. That's what I'm trying to say, bro.
But just dedicate a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Every day. That's all you have to do.
Like with the money that you make, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't make that much money. Doesn't matter. Pay attention to it.
Dude,
give it
that's
10 minutes a day.
Deal.
Organize your money.
That is a huge deal.
10 minutes a day. Organize what you're going to eat. We're talking about very little time here.
That is a thing as well. It's like when we were going to the gym that much and when we were eating well, that's when we were able to budget our money the best. And that's when we got our band out of debt. That's when we got ourselves personally out of debt. It's like everything started to fall in line because once our bodies and our mind were in order, everything else just, it fell into place very easily. It was easy to get everything else in order once I personally had a grasp on my diet and my exercise.
Did you know that's what people would consider yoga, like Westerners, asana yoga? That's what the point of it is. Did you know that?
No, that it's an equality of mind and body.
No, the point of it is to first control your physical body, so then you can control your mind.
There we go.
Right? So it's like, it's going to be really hard for somebody to just start with controlling their mind, like on how to meditate. And this is all for spiritual stuff.
Right.
Not for,
but it can
fitness
be,
or whatever. But you can apply it to anything.
And I find that is something that does work with spiritual stuff. I know that a lot of people out there are like, fuck religion or fuck... I get that train of thought, but really you can take lessons from spiritual train of thought and you can put them into real life and use them. It's almost like you see all of these social media influencers and all of this shit, and all that I can think when they're writing their like nice positivity influencing posts, it's like that really is a spiritual thought at the base of it.
Yeah.
Like that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
It's just been kind of like, turned around and made to seem cool to people who may not be into religion.
Yeah. But I mean,
that's one of the cool things about all of those. What you just said
was, hey, like you get your physical body under control.
Yeah.
And then it's a lot easier to do other aspects that are not so physical.
Yeah, totally.
And that's, I mean, a lot of people who say that, who, work out people or whatever.
Yeah.
But I just thought I would point that out. I was actually thinking about that today. Another thing I was thinking about.
Yeah. So what kind of hobbies are you guys passionate about completely outside of music? I draw a lot. Photography, those type of things. I'm really into writing. I mean, that has to do with music. But what are you into that's outside of music, Naveen?
I mean, I've tried to shut everything down that's not a part of music, straight up. So
yeah.
If I do, because I've had the problem of like getting into all these, just all kinds of crazy hobbies that I don't necessarily need to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I don't know, whatever, you name it, man. Right. I mean, I've been into like shoes. That was one thing I was into.
Yeah.
I was into, I don't know, like
Jiu-jitsu.
Outdoor equipment.
Outdoor.
Like survivalist stuff.
Yeah, I remember that.
Jiu-jitsu, like
sewing.
Sewing for a little. I mean, all that is cool, but like I've had this point in my life where I'm like, okay, I'm shutting down anything that doesn't have to do with music. It's like, okay, Naveen, you want to have hobbies? They all need to be pointed at the same thing. That's it. So like, yeah, I have a lot of hobbies. I'm into photography. I take pictures of my drum set. You know, I'm into whatever, playing guitar. I'm writing riffs for the band. Playing drums, writing riffs for the band. I'm into production of music. Cool. I'm producing songs. I'm into synths. Cool. I'm putting them on songs.
Yeah.
Right? So I've tried to actually, since I do have a day job and I have to spend a lot of time doing non-music stuff in my life, I want pretty much all my free time to be dedicated to the project. And even this podcast, you know, the podcast is, sure, it's fun and everything, but the point of it is to talk about music, talk about the band, and stay sort of connected in that field. Would you say so, Jane?
Definitely. I mean, yeah. Yeah, you said it.
Yeah, so that's kind of like, that's where I'm at with everything, and for me, that's actually a self-discipline that I have to do.
Yeah, because
I'll just fucking go off the rails.
Yeah, I'm not like that as much as Naveen is. Like, I've had my same hobbies. Like, the things that I do are the thing right now are the things that I was doing 5 years ago. Like, I draw, I woodburn, I play music and write.
Yeah,
that's what I do. Take pictures and shoot some videos. That's what I do.
Yeah,
but
so it doesn't take much though for me, because I'll just get like this little inclination to do something that's off from what I would normally do, and then I'm like, all right, don't do that, dude. But some other things that I want to do that are not really band or music related would be work on the van. I got more work to do on the van.
That is still music related though, because it is our band.
So I do like to build stuff, and I do like to work. I do like to work out and stuff like that, fitness. But last 6 months or whatever, I haven't been doing it. But I'm getting back into it.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm allowing myself to do that for sure.
Demoing life, my friend Ryan. Can we have a Naveen Trump impersonation? Cheney's been talking it up.
Oh wow.
Oh God, on our live episode.
Low hanging fruit, dude.
It is low hanging fruit. You could probably go see Naveen's dad do that somewhere.
Oh yeah, I think my dad, does he have a Trump impersonation?
Okay, you guys, Naveen's dad just blew up on the internet. Dude. He's gone viral, so you should look up his video, Mark Copperwise, on YouTube. He got like 116,000 plays on his Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger
impersonation video.
He's going viral. He gets like 6,000 views a day.
He's gone fucking viral. Okay, so Titus Ambronicus, any plans on doing cover songs as Entheos as opposed to just individually? Yeah, probably. We talked I don't know if we'll actually post it under Entheos, the Scourge of Iron.
Oh yeah. I think we should though. I think it should be
I don't know.
Entheos cover Scourge of Iron, dude.
Yeah, maybe we could do that.
I don't know.
We'll see. But
we don't know.
Yes, we're going to do a cover together, but I don't know if we'll do it as Entheos.
So, what do you guys do for day jobs?
I do in-home care. And Naveen is a drapery installer.
Yeah. So I have it's been a long ride, but I've got to a point I have a small little business of my own, and I work for a couple people. I just install motorized shades. That's like where I'm at this point. So it's like shades you control with a remote on your window, and it's really elaborate and crazy. Totally.
I do in-home care with a good friend of mine, and I help him produce his podcast. It's called the Jesse Ray Podcast.
There you go.
I help him do that, and yeah.
Boom.
But I work 2 15-hour days in a week, so I get all of my work out of the way. I focus. Sick. I do, also I send all of our KoperCrabb merch and handle a lot of like day-to-day stuff with the band. So yeah, and the podcast. So
and my thing has really enabled me to do all this stuff that I do, because I do make my own schedule. So as of lately, I've been trying to take that down a bit and take my band stuff up some. So that's kind of the direction I'm trying to head into.
Totally.
Hope my clients aren't listening.
Same. Brian Glover, what's a front to back great album you'd like to shout out in any genre? A lot of albums are coming to mind. I'm going to say, dude, I talk about Marissa Nadler so much, or Emma Ruth Rundle so much, but both of them, Marissa Nadler, For My Crimes, and Emma Ruth Rundle, I like every one of her records. I would pretty much throw out there. Drab Majesty, The Demonstration, God. That's a really fucked up question to ask to people who love music.
Albums.
Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. I've been,
dude, Joe's Garage. Frank Zappa.
Yeah.
Front to back, great listen. I would say, God, there's so many. Yeah. Well, but that's not what they want. They don't want to hear there's so many. They want to hear what the albums are.
Well, I named a few. So
Dying Fetus, Destroy the Opposition.
Yeah.
That's a great one, front to back. Soul Niger Within, front to back, great album. Any Air album, great, front to back, straight up.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's more.
Okay.
Albums.
Demoing Life. Cheney, do you prefer writing lyrics on paper? What motivates you to go paper versus typing it out? I do prefer to write lyrics on paper. However, I do type out a bunch of lyrics as well.
She only does quill.
I only do quill. Calligraphy only for my lyric writing. I just like to write it out just because that's easier. That's what I've been doing since I was a kid. It's just grown with me. I can always kind of have, but now I can write in my notes on my phone and stuff. So I just kind of write everywhere. I like writing in notebooks. I like having a physical thing there. However, I do take my lyrics from my notebooks and I type them up on my computer and print them out.
What a poser. Boo.
Yeah.
I think you should do quill. It'd be sick.
I'd be just...
Well, no, if we do what we were talking about, you should do it.
I'd have carpal tunnel.
If we were doing that thing that we were talking about, you should do it with quill. I don't know. Just saying.
What thing?
Handwritten books.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I won't do it with quill. I don't like that idea at all.
Okay, well, what about not quill, but about like some cool calligraphy pen? How about that?
That could be cool. I have really good handwriting. I think that just...
Jack Heat saying calligraphy equals more brutal.
Yeah,
just
that's
saying,
probably
dude.
true.
Training.
I do have really good handwriting too, so...
I think part of my getting into too many hobbies, because calligraphy is now reminding me, I almost went down that road.
Calligraphy? You did?
Handwriting.
Oh, okay, yeah.
One of my problems was I went on Reddit too much.
I know. Reddit will have you just off in the weeds doing a million hobbies.
That's what it was. Because I was
Southwestern pigeon watching? That sounds cool. What's the Reddit? And then you just go into the Reddit and you're
that's
reading about it.
That's probably a subreddit right there.
I'm
but
sure
yeah,
it
I'd
is.
be in I'm actually a member or whatever, subscriber of Goodyear Welt, which is like a certain style of boot making.
What the
Yeah, I would go in there every day.
Really? I didn't even know about this.
No, you did. That's
those
boots that I have. They're Goodyear Welt boots,
Yeah. Huh.
Just what
That's
am I
really
doing?
strange.
That's just it's very cool, but for me personally, I have work to do.
Yeah, there are some people who are into, what did you call it? Midwestern welting?
Goodyear Welt.
Okay. There's some people who are into Goodyear welting.
It's like when the top part of the boot is sewn onto the bottom part.
Oh, okay.
So
I know what you're talking
flattens out and then there's a seam around it.
Yeah,
that's called Goodyear Welt.
Totally. I know what you're talking about.
So those are really killer boots. And if you have, they're not glued on, none of that bull. So that's great if you're into that.
Yeah.
For me personally,
yeah,
I need to go into the studio and work on music. Get off the Goodyear Welt subreddit.
If you're making Goodyear Welts, if you do that for a living, that's a great thing to be into.
Yeah, or if you don't have a band that you need to be working on, do that. Then go for it.
Okay, so Bress Agandon, New Architects, good or bad? So we listened to it before the podcast so that we could answer this question. Not my thing, not my cup of tea. What do you think about the song?
I mean, it's not good for me to judge that kind of music because I don't listen to that.
That's what I'm
music.
saying. It's not. I mean, I did like Architect's last record, Holy Hell.
Yeah, I think for the genre, it's great.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For the genre, it's
yeah.
really good. That's not a. You're never gonna find me turning on that music.
Yeah, that's off my radar.
But it's just not. Yeah, I wouldn't know about it.
Yeah.
Like I didn't
like great production, amazing, all that stuff. It's killer, but no, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. It's not my thing. Eric Cheney, you being a Corpse Grinder fan, what did you think about the Project Serpentine Dominion? Yeah, that was really sick. I remember it coming out.
That was super
with
sick.
Adam D. It was
that
fucking
was super
sick.
Yeah, that was fucking
so
dope,
sick.
dude. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, dude, I was saying this
morning.
This morning I was watching this video that we always watch of Cannibal at Vakken playing Scourge of Iron, in which the hi-hat is just turned up.
It's so loud. It's like
comedically high.
Perfect mix. And then he goes over to the hi-hats. Like, it's crazy.
The hi-hat is louder than the vocals. You guys have to watch this video because it's like ridiculous how loud the hi-hat is.
Yeah, and it always reminds me of Eastbound and Down.
Yeah.
Like the second season when Kenny's like in the studio and he's like, can I get the hi-hat up a couple more dBs? And he like keeps telling him to turn the hi-hat up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, that's what they did on this video.
Dude.
Until the hi-hat was like fucking 12 dB too loud.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
But what was I going to say about that? Oh, yeah. I was saying this morning that I think Cannibal Corpse is like the first. I want to see. I wish that somehow Cannibal could be the first band that I see when bands come back.
Damn.
Because I would just, honestly, I would
Fucking Bud Lights.
Love to be at a Cannibal show right now, just
Yeah.
like drinking a fucking beer and just watching Cannibal.
I know. And, Cheney and I are like.
I would love that.
We're actually not social butterflies. Let's put it that way. I mean, we're very personable to people, but we've been known to stay home quite a bit.
Yeah.
Right?
Known to stay home.
Known to stay home. Right? When the coronavirus thing, it was stay home first kind of hit. It's like, no problem.
Yeah.
Like, I can do that.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
But honestly, when we watch like shows on YouTube and stuff, because when we first moved in here, we got like a TV that has like the internet on it or whatever. So we can watch YouTube on the TV.
Yeah.
And we'll watch we do it a lot actually. We'll watch concerts, the same 5 concerts over and over again.
Yeah. We do
the
that
Demi
all the
Borgir
time.
one.
God, I love that
And the
one.
Cannibal.
And Cannibal, and we watch a bunch of Morbid Angel videos, some
Watch
Typo.
I'm the Slime music video.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude.
But anyway.
We watch that a lot.
When I watch them now, I'm like,
Joni Mitchell.
damn, I want to go to a fucking show, dude.
Dude, I want to go to a show.
Because even in Santa Cruz, like, it's not a main hub for shows, but shows still came here. I mean,
Yeah.
we've seen BT Bam, we've seen Whitechapel here, we've seen, I don't know, tons of Circus Survive. Like,
Yeah.
didn't we? Did we see Circus here?
No, they're supposed to come.
They're going to
here.
come here.
Yeah.
Okay,
They're gonna
wrong
come
on that
here.
one. Anyway, we've seen a ton of shows here, and it's like, I guess it would be maybe every 2 to 3 months a band that we knew would come through here.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Because we
After the
live in
burial.
like a C market.
Yeah.
What you may call a C market.
But that's still like going to a show.
Yeah.
Kind of scratching the itch, if
Right.
you will. But so
All right.
now I'm feeling kind of nostalgic about it, and I don't get to see
I really want to
shows.
see like a super sick death metal band though.
Yeah, I would love to see
I
a
think
death
I'm
metal
gonna be
band.
kind of picky about the first band that I see.
I don't know about that.
I'm
I would
gonna be kind of picky.
That's the thing. See, that's the thing that's weird that's happening to me. I'll go. I want to see like a rock band. Like I don't even care. I don't have anything against rock. That's not the first pick. Like, oh, I want to go see a classic rock band.
Depending on the rock band,
I actually love classic rock. When I was working for the last couple, I had a big thing going on, and I brought my little stereo, and I was just classic rock all day. I love it.
Yeah.
But not typically what I would think I want to go see first.
Yeah.
But
I love classic.
having said that, I would love to go to a classic rock show.
Me too.
Or any show. Any show.
Yeah, I'm not like that.
I don't even care.
I'm not like that.
Oh, really?
No, I'm like, I want to go. I want my first show back to be like something that I'm going to maybe shed a tear at.
Mm. Well, you might shed a tear at the random classic. No, we're not shedding tears there.
Yeah. Well, I
Maybe,
I love classic rock, but.
I'm saying random classic
Yeah,
rock
no,
band.
not random. I want to know maybe.
I would be,
cut.
okay, Cheney, question. There's like a show happening downtown.
I'd go.
Tonight.
You're right. I'd go. I'm not
Hey, there's
picky.
a show going.
I'm not being
like
picky.
coronavirus is over and there's a show.
Yeah, hypothetically,
I want to go to
I'd
the
go.
show. I
I'd
don't
go.
even care
I'd
who
go.
it is. Yeah.
I'd
You'd go? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I take it back.
I would go even if it was reggae.
Shit.
And I don't like reggae.
You really don't.
You know how
like
most people
reggae.
go like, I like everything. I just don't like country. Something like that. I like country. I
love
don't like
country.
reggae. That's the one music I don't like.
All reggae sounds the same.
Am I gonna get like
Flamed for that?
But
I like reggae.
all right,
I'll
Cheney,
take
yo,
it,
what
but
up? Favorite
I'm a
Dimmu
420
song?
Blaze it.
We got a sick.
I don't actually know the names of songs of Dimmu, I realized. I like the album of Puritanical,
Yeah.
but I don't actually know.
Sons of the Prodigal something.
Yeah, you're stumping me on the songs. Dude, that sounds so poserish, but it's actually true that a lot of the time I know the album I'm listening to and I don't know the individual song names.
Because I'm not going to like...
It's the same as how
I don't know
the producer of the record either.
Actually,
dude.
Puritanical would have to be on the front to back great album list.
Oh, definitely.
That fucking
Definitely.
rules.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I've never been as into Dimmu on any other record as I am on Puritanical.
Well, the song that we always watch live
Is not
from
on Puritanical.
It's from, I think, Death Cult.
It is. It's from Death Cult. Death Cult is really good. Death Cult actually is the first record that I heard from Dimmu when I was a kid because I had like this metal for the masses. Someone asked us earlier what got us into metal. This isn't what got me into metal, but this is what got me into more extreme metal. I bought Metal for the Masses from Hot Topic, and it had like Dimmu, Meshuggah. It had... God, I can't even remember. Those are the two songs that really stick out to me. I bought it because Lacuna Coil was on it. But then I heard those two songs and I was fucking... So obviously I was listening to Lacuna Coil, so I was already into like some kind of metal, underground metal. But
that's funny.
Those two bands, Meshuggah.
Yeah.
I heard Meshuggah when I was in I think I was in 7th grade.
Yeah.
And it was because of that. So I knew about Meshuggah a long time before a lot of people did, just because it was on Metal for the Masses.
Before it was cool.
Yeah. And I am old also. Okay, Will Arse, do you guys have any tips for a band looking for a booking agent / management? Keep it sick, y'all. We will keep it sick. Honestly, my advice for a band looking for management or a booking agent is don't. Unless you're like, unless you're like, how do I put this? We are living in an age that you really have the ability to almost manage your own band. It's not even almost. You have the ability to manage your own band to the point that you can hit up a PR or a PR firm, right? You can hit up someone and have them set and pay them.
Yeah.
As an independent artist and have them send all of your shit out. You can this information is pretty accessible on the internet. You can look up, who are other people using for PR. Mm-hmm. I can almost.
But are they going to care as much if it's coming from someone that they don't?
But that doesn't matter. I mean, that's also a thing. See, I was going to say that with a booking agent. Depending on where you want to go with your band, do you really love being on tour and you want to go out there and be broke and have no one know of your band when you go out? And do you want to go on tour that way, or do you want to go on tours that people are at? Because you can build yourself up on the internet.
Yeah.
And I think that, if you want to have a good touring experience that's not going to lead you to be like, fuck touring, I can't do this because I don't make any money and it just depends what experience you're looking for. But I personally think that the point when you should go looking for a booking agent and try to tour and do all of that stuff is when you have somewhat of a following on the internet already. Yeah. And as far as looking for management, it's you need to consider what a manager is going to do for you. We have a manager in Entheos. However, us working with our manager is really good for us because our manager does do things that we couldn't do on our own. Whether it be help us get on a tour,
right?
Help us get in a magazine or whatever,
or just provide sick advice.
Our manager,
no, he's an older metal guy.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, our manager. One thing that's incredible about him is that he's been in the game so long that he almost sees things pan out before they ever happen. Yeah. And there's so many things about our band that he's been able to, he's I've seen this pattern in bands before. And he doesn't necessarily say it, but like a year later, you know, he knows, like, if we've ever had a disagreement, he knows that we'll come around.
Yeah.
Because he's dealt with it a million times before. So it's like, when you're looking for management and that type of thing, you need to consider, what is this person going to do for me? Because when you hire a manager, the real implication of that is that you pay someone money like they're in a band with you.
Right.
Or they get a certain percentage. And that's like, does this person deserve a percentage? So really, I think that like the best answer for that is trying to get the word out about your band and build a solid following online, because I don't think that the answer is in having a booking agent or having management before you're ready to have that. So I don't know if you're in a place, I don't know what band you're in. I have no idea. But you really need to ask yourself if you're in a place where those things make sense, or if you're in a place where maybe someone in your band could act as your management.
Right.
Because the internet is so accessible that you really have the ability, you know, depending on the type of band you're in, you can contact like a site like maybe Slam Worldwide, or find a channel to put your band's music video on that you may fit on that would get you bigger fans. That's really what it's about, is getting more eyes on your band.
Right.
And, you know, what a manager does, a manager can get you opportunities, but you also have to be earning the opportunities.
They don't have a magic wand.
They don't.
It's just another person to sort of help out.
Yeah.
That's really all it is. So what we want to do, I mean, we're not like giving you advice up from the top. You know, it's like we're telling you what we are trying to do currently, and that is just create something that people want. If you create something that people want, you're going to have people wanting to manage it.
Yeah, those things come to you. You get you'll get emails about a booking agent, or you'll, you know.
So that goes back to what we were saying a little earlier. It's like, set up the stuff you want to do and start doing it.
Yeah.
And that's all. That's all you can do.
And you know, another thing about booking agents, man, I really do think that people should be careful about the tour offers that they take, depending on, you know, the situation that they're in. Because I've seen friends of mine who are in bands that no one had necessarily heard of, but they were on like huge tours. They somehow got on a huge tour, whether it was by their booking agent or they bought on, and you think, you know, I'm buying onto this huge tour. I'm going to sell a bunch of merch and my band's going to be really well known. What actually tends to happen more is that you'll definitely earn a few fans, but you're going to probably lose money. People tend to buy merch from bands that they've heard of more than bands that they haven't heard of.
Winning them over.
Yeah. I totally get the winning them over mindset, but I think that we have such a powerful tool in the internet that it could be more worth your time to be at home and putting the same amount of effort that you would be putting into like a month-long tour.
Like, what would that even look like?
Yeah.
You know, because once you go on tour, you see how much effort goes into it. Mm-hmm. Like, we've always wondered that. It's like, what if we just took a month off of everything and just did band shit every day for a month? It's like, it would probably be more beneficial than a tour that you're on where no one knows who you are.
Right.
You know, I think it would be.
I think so too. Yeah, I do think that it's a little more beneficial to like have your name out there and then go on a tour, so that you at least have some eyes looking your way. Because sure, you'll turn some people and make them into fans, but realistically, what does that look like? Some nights it looks like $0 a night for you on merch. Yeah. Some nights it looks like you playing a venue that takes 15% and doesn't give a fuck if you're an opening band or how much money you made. If you made $150, you're still giving them 15% of what you made. So, and then you have to pay for gas. And chances are that if you're a lesser known band, that you didn't really have the bargaining power to get your guarantee up to a good point.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things to consider. And monetarily, you have to be smart about touring. I know, dude, Naveen and I both come from we're both kind of old. We both remember what it was like to like, Naveen actually was going on tour, and that in your band was building that way. I was in like a local band, and we would do small tours, but that was the mindset.
That was
back
how
then.
You did it.
That was how you did it.
The option of getting big on the internet. That wasn't an option.
Yeah.
It was like the way you build a band is you go on tour with other bands, and people hear about you, and then you get bigger.
Yeah.
Within the scene. It's just not like that anymore.
It's just not really like that as much anymore.
And that's fine.
Sure, you
that's
can
good.
still do that.
Know? That's cool. That's fine that it's not like that. That doesn't matter. It's just a different way, and if you just adapt and use it to your advantage, it's great. But I think a huge thing is getting your shit together at home right now.
Yeah.
And you don't have to wait for the manager to come. You don't have to wait for the booking agent to come. No.
Yeah.
I'm doing my thing right here. What I have and what I'm going to put out, everyone's going to want a piece.
Yeah.
Right? And that's it. If you can, and I'm not saying I've figured out how to do that. I'm trying to figure out how to do that myself. But if you can figure out how to do that, everything else is going to fall into place.
I would also say that would be an answer for me in like dealing with should I wait to put out material until touring is back with the quarantine thing. I am of the mindset that if you wait to put out material, that's just more time that you're going without anyone, hearing about your band or without any new thing to show. I don't really see a purpose, especially if you're a smaller band. I do not know why you would wait until touring was back to release something.
Yeah.
I don't really see that as being like because man, in the past 10 years, we've seen the internet become this huge thing. There's so many bands who are just getting big off, who make a career because they started off on the internet. Like, this is a tool, and you do have to learn how to use it to be in a band.
Totally. That's just how it is. I mean, and it's always, the thing that I've realized lately is it's always been that way. It's not like, I didn't sign up to be on the internet. It's like, yeah, but okay, so before the internet, you had to be able to drive a van with a trailer and, know how to navigate through city. You know what I mean? You're always going to have to do things that don't necessarily fall in line with being in a band. That's just what it is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So at this particular moment, we're dealing with this whole internet thing.
Right.
So I don't know, whatever. Just figure it out.
Figure it out.
And the people who do figure it out do really well.
Yeah, they succeed. It's true.
And it's not just like that for bands. It's like that for every business that is out there. And I hate talking about bands like a business, but if you're talking about getting a manager and going on tour and stuff, well, now we're in business territory.
Yeah, it's true.
So now we have to deal with it like that.
Those are both people who take a percentage of what you make.
Yeah. So
it's real. It's real life.
It is what it is.
It's cute to have a booking agent and management, but you have to give them a percentage of your money. Are they earning it? That's what you should be asking yourself. Dude, if you have a homie, if you have a friend, if you're in a good band, none of you give a fuck about managing anything, but you have a friend who cares about your band more than you do, and they're like, I'm trying to blow you guys up. Hire that guy for sure. For sure. But if you don't have that, I don't know that I could recommend getting a manager until it like really, really makes sense.
Unless they're down to earth and they're just wanting
they want to help you.
Help out.
I mean, there are certain circumstances, but I don't know that I would go out like searching for management.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Cameron says, "Are you guys signed? Do you think labels are still relevant?" We are not signed right now. I do think labels are still relevant. I think that as long as bands need money to do things or need distribution or just want to be artists and don't want to deal with the business side of their band, that labels will always kind of be relevant.
Yeah, and there's also, it differentiates you from other bands, right? I mean, if you're on this label, oh, well, they're on that label, I should probably check them out.
Yeah, there's name association. Labels have access to a different audience than you may already have access to, perhaps a wider audience.
And if you look at bands that are really big, they're usually on a label. So, I mean, that should tell you something.
Yeah, there are definitely a few that aren't, and there are a few people. I think Pliny is a very good example of that. Someone who's been able to just do it all his way. He's very.
Yeah.
There are very few Plinies out there.
It's just not that many.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's still relevant.
I just think that everything is kind of relevant right now. It's relevant to be an independent artist. It's relevant to be signed to a label. it's relevant to put your shit out on the internet and be on it all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Spotify's relevant.
If you're the type of person who can figure out how to work every website and you're business savvy and stuff, then you probably might not need a label. But if you're kind of not trying to do all that, like me, might make sense to be on a label.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to answer one of these questions? I'm going to run.
Sure. This is like when when Wayne leaves the set from Wayne's World and it's just Garth and he's like, I'm having a good time. Not. Cheney, most influential philosopher that you studied. Okay, well I can't answer that one. Lord Marco is a pretty damn good drummer. I don't know if that's a question. That's just a little comment there. Periphery's whole team and business model is really cool. Yeah, so that's an instance where those guys are insanely smart and straight up talented at doing that kind of stuff, and I mean, how many people can really do that? I couldn't do it. I think it's amazing what they've done. But, you got to sometimes know your strengths and weaknesses. And for me, no, not going to do it. It's not going to happen. I can, I am a guy who makes music and videos and content. That's my thing. I love doing that and I love all the aspects of that. And I think it makes more sense for me to just do that all the time and not worry about the boring number crunching or whatever. I guess I am into numbers, but not. You guys get the fucking idea. Jesus Christ! Thank God you're back, Cheney. It was about to train without you. Would you ever try trick pedals? I sort of did try to get a trick pedal. I actually tried to get them to endorse me, but it didn't really work out back in the day. And then I just never got one. So I would try it though. Yeah. Seems cool. Yeah. Seems way sick.
Periphery's whole team and business model.
I already answered that question.
What'd you say?
I said
Periphery's a huge band.
I said they are amazing at doing that, but they're talented at that. They've assembled this whole thing, and they probably have people that work for them.
They're really good at marketing. I mean, that's what they've been. Everything
they've always been really good at that.
Yeah.
So if you're that type of person, then go for it.
They also they were signed to Sumerian until a year ago.
Yeah.
So they were signed until they were a gigantic band.
Something else.
And I think that when you're a gigantic
but there's no
band,
doubt that they're good at doing stuff on their own.
No doubt whatsoever.
They got big on their own, for sure.
Yeah.
Before any of that.
Absolutely.
Of course that helped.
Yep. Well, because one thing that a label does do is distribution is a really tricky thing. And a label usually has the connections to distribute your stuff physically and on the internet, which is really important. And that a lot of the time can be a reason to sign to a label, really. It really just depends on your deal. I think we've been in situations where we've been lucky enough to have good deals, and that's why we've chosen to be on labels.
Right.
And yeah.
There it is.
Would we ever try getting Nolly on the show?
I could ask him.
Yeah, sure.
He'd probably do it, I think. I think he might do it. I don't know if he's too busy. But
he might be busy.
We do sort of. We're cordial with Nolly. I mean, we've hung out with him a couple times. And
yeah, I mean.
Had Thanksgiving with him one time.
We did have Thanksgiving with Nolly, right?
Yeah, because he was recording with Animals, and Sean, my brother, lived with Tosin. We went down to LA and.
Well, you were also doing sound or production on that record.
Oh yeah, that was on Joy of Motion. Mm-hmm. How was my drum session with Akel Dama? Okay, so that's the Faceless thing that I did. I think I actually was just on tour with Animosity and had a day off. And Keen came and got me, and I went and played on a song.
Oh, I didn't know you played a song.
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
I did, yeah.
Wow.
So
that's cool.
That was that. It was cool. It was a good time. It was fun. No, actually, that's definitely what happened. Yeah, I was on tour and then I went and did that. I actually remember that now. Thinking of it more. What do you think, Shani? Take a couple more questions and wrap up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. 50th episode, man.
We wrapping up? Taking another last minute question?
Oh, this is a really long episode. I was like, wow, there's still people watching the episode.
Hanging in, dude.
We're going to wrap it up. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have never watched our podcast before, go like the page that we're airing this from. Go subscribe to our freaking YouTube. Go follow us on Instagram. We're there all the time. There are hella clips up. We've got 49 other episodes.
There you go.
Have a good week, you guys.
We will see you guys next week.
Thanks for hanging.
Thanks.
Here's to 50 more.